Hello and welcome back to the TTP Field Manual podcast. Today we will be talking about not one but two book club discussions. Isn't that right, Johnny?
Yeah, we're a little late on this one, so you get two instead of one.
A little, just a little bit late. My fingers are quite far apart. You can't see it because this is a podcast, but just a little bit late.
Hey, it's not my fault you couldn't get through the first book, all right?
Yeah, that was on me. I could not do it. I just couldn't do it.
How did that boss I just threw you under feel?
Rough and coarse. But you're not wrong, actually, to the point where once upon a time I thought, why don't we just record the book club for STARSEER'S Ruin? And you say, have you finished it? And I said, no, but wouldn't that make for an interesting discussion that I couldn't be bothered? And you're like, no, Joshua, no.
You chose it. Suffer alongside us.
I did. I really did choose it. It was on me. But yeah, no, we are back with book club. This is our first actual recording in weeks, actually. Over a month, actually, because of life and things. So we might be a little bit rusty. So we're going to start with something nice and cash by talking about the books that we were meant to talk about months ago. Why not? Why not, eh?
Hey, one of them months ago. The other one's still recent.
That's true, actually. That's very true. I'm getting ahead of myself. But how have you been, Mr. Johnny? How have you been?
Oh, mate, I've been hectic as life's just got in the way of everything and I haven't had time to do much fun stuff outside of Magic the Gathering once a week.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
It is.
It's a fun thing to do once a week.
Yeah.
Especially if you have an 80% win rate in your pod.
It might be higher now, I don't know.
Unbelievable.
I could look.
But welcome back to the podcast, Johnny.
Welcome back. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, we'll be doing book club today. If I haven't already mentioned it 4 times, we will be covering 2 books. We will be covering Adrian Tchaikovsky's Age of Sigmar book, STARSEER'S Ruin, which, what month was that actually? We go back into the announcements page on our Discord, our community Discord, with the link in the description of the episode, which you can go and click on and join our community and join in on discussions, not just with book clubs.
You posted it.
But with all things Warhammer.
You posted it on the 10th of April that it would be the next book club.
Whoops. Well, I was scared it was March that I posted that, so I'll take that as a win.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's fine.
You had a holiday. It's okay.
That's true. I couldn't finish the bloody book, and then it was the next month, and we announced the next book, and then I went on a holiday for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened.
No, it's all right. So, Josh, what do you think of STARSEER'S Ruin?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it. You obviously ended up finishing it in the end. Did you feel like it got better towards the end, or did you really just struggle the whole way?
Yes, to both of those. I do think it got better in the back half of the novel. Well, the back third, I would say, is when I had my ears sort of prick up, like, okay, I'm back in. You've got me back. But the thing is, nothing objectively about the book was, from the characters to the setting to the actual, like, the plot, the machinations of what all the characters had to go through. It didn't bother me at all. I thought it was engaging enough. But the way it was written, or the way it was read on Audible format, maybe a bit of both. I just couldn't do it. It was like nails down a chalkboard. I'm like, I can't listen to this. It's so, I don't know. Did you feel like it was repetitive at all? Like,
for sure.
Characters saying the same things, descriptions repeating itself over and over again. I felt like I was treated like I was, forgetting things and needed to be told the same thing again, like every couple of what would be pages or chapters. It's like, yes, I understand that we're in the plane of death. Yes, I understand that the Stormcast doesn't have memory. Yes, I understand that the Seraphon are alien-minded. I don't need to be told that a dozen times. But how did you like it?
So to bring the audience up to date, like for those that haven't read it or want to read it, the premise behind the book is that we have this group of Cities of Sigmar humans who are on patrol through the very dead-infused lands of Arkshe. It's Arkshe, right?
I think so. No, actually, it's the Plane of Fire. We're in.
No, whatever the Deadlands are. It's Age of Sigmar.
Maybe it is actually.
I'm pretty sure it's Arkshe.
Age of Sigmar Plane. I swear actually was the Plane of Fire.
And
let me have a look.
A group of soldiers decide that
Shyish. No, Shyish.
Shyish, that's the one.
We're in Shyish. The realm of death.
A small group of soldiers have heard that there is potentially a ruin in this forest nearby where they're patrolling, and they could potentially get some loot, and they decide to split off from the rest of their forces secretively and try and get some extra dollary dues doing a bit of a dungeon run through a lost temple. They are ambushed by some Seraphon who had a very similar idea, and there's kind of this like pairing between the two due to an infestation of Skaven that arrive. And that's kind of like the premise of the book, is they're trying to get in to explore this temple for their own reasons while fighting off a Skaven invasion of this temple ruin as well. So the actual premise of the book sounds pretty interesting and pretty fun, right?
It totally is. And as far as novels go, this has a lot of things going for it. This is the first Seraphon-oriented novel, and from what I'm gathering, it's a novel that's actually offering the most insight into the Seraphon and how their culture works, how their beliefs work, how their mannerisms work. And so a lot of people gushing about it for that as well. The author is Adrian Tchaikovsky, who is a very well-regarded novelist, but from outside the Black Library, I believe award-winning or extremely well-regarded writer of the Children of Time series, which has several novels, and you'll see it in the bestseller lists and the front shelves of bookstores. And he's got so many just well-regarded books, and he's written a 40K novel, The Day of Ascension, which is a Genestealer Cults novel. And so when it was announced that Adrian Tchaikovsky was going to write this Seraphon novel, everyone's like, oh my God, him!
That guy.
He's doing it! And that was a large part of why I actually picked this, was new faction insight, Age of Sigmar novel, we hadn't covered it before. Very prolific author, known for his work outside the Black Library. Yeah.
It had a lot going for it.
What did you think though, Johnny?
To parrot a little bit about what you said, yes, they did repeat themselves a lot. There was a lot of telling you information you already knew. But if we look at the positive side of things, I really liked the initial description of the Stormcast and kind of like the way this like loss of memory and all of that is played out. I thought they did a really good job of describing him at first. The problem was they did it a lot. Like, they kind of leaned into it a little too heavily. Like, he seemed like this really cool, almost like Space Marine, juggling with this like memory loss, trying to find out why he is
almost Space Marine
drawn to this ruin, because he's kind of like the odd faction. He just kind of shows up and is like, oh, there's people here. All right, cool. There's something here that I can't quite remember. And he's in the later stages of forgetting his memories, but there's like this niggling memory at the back of his brain. I liked that the band of like mercenary humans was very simple. They kind of just fit into their niches. There's like the lone huntress girl. There's the quartermaster, who's kind of like the man in charge and a bit roguish. There's the mage that's self-taught and come up from below. Like that, it's very stereotypical like fantasy trope party. And then you've got this like weird alien brain, and they really go deep into how alien the thought process of the Seraphon is. Like, they don't understand why they do the things they do. There's only a couple of the Seraphon that can speak the common tongue. So there's only a couple that can like talk to and negotiate with these people. And there's this like holy priestess who is kind of like the leader of the Seraphon party, whose whole plan is to come and find part of their lost lore to further the great plan of the Seraphon to, you know, bring peace and order to the realm in the long run. And it's all about like taking small steps no matter what it takes to accomplish the greater plan. It's very, very Tao and the greater good vibes.
It is, isn't it?
Like we'll sacrifice whatever it takes as long as we get one step closer to the final goal. Like everything is pre-planned. There's this like almost Necron/Tao way of thinking of like nothing is too great a sacrifice if it leads us one step closer.
It was the Seraphon side of things that was undeniably my favorite part of the novel, with the various perspectives. You had the priest or the priestess, or the priest, they, them, Arishi Starseer.
Yeah.
And a couple of the other types of Seraphon having POV characters with the brutish, I think they're Sauras or Croxagores, or
yeah,
the big burly ones.
There was a couple of Croxagores.
As well, there was, I think, a skink character, the really slim little chameleon-looking fellows. And they were my favorite part. I loved hearing about the mysticism of the culture, how they are all basically seeing themselves as just links in a plan that they have to, it's just their part to further the plan of their star gods.
Yeah.
It's not a moral thing. It's not, but what about me and my independency? I just want to go and do this. No, their culture is to just further this plan along, which is where a lot of the friction is with the humans. You know, the humans are in the way. If they get sacrificed, so says, not to necessarily go with the whole Tau thing, but the greater good of the plan, because they don't really see that sort of individualism. They just see, fate and destiny. And I loved that. And if the book was more focused on this esoteric mindset and perspective, I would have enjoyed it more, even though I think it probably would be less accessible.
Yeah.
I think where a lot of my gripes was that we focused so much on the human perspective, which is a very 40K thing with Space Marine novels and stuff as well, is you need a human to ground the story. And I get that, but I spent 2/3 of the book not really knowing who was actually who. Who was the huntress? What was her name?
Don't ask me their names.
Yeah.
That was 3 months ago I read this book.
And I get that you need the humans in the narrative. And honestly, they weren't even bad characters.
No.
But the sort of repetition of phrase, I think part of my gripe is that the narrator for this, Richard Reed, I just wasn't enjoying how he delivered a lot of the human dialogue. I'm not a huge fan of Richard Reed's dialogue delivery anyway, in various books of his that I've listened to him reading, such as Twice Dead King. But he does have a fantastic commanding presence with his voice. He describes and enunciates so well, better than a lot of the other authors I've listened to. But I found when he was reading out the dialogue of the humans, it was almost to me, condescending about how much I was able to recall about the plot. We have to go now, Burlo. It's not safe out here. It's we know.
We know.
We know. Or, just that kind of energy was really turning me off. If I read the book, I probably would just end up skimming these pages and having less of an issue. But because I listened to it, you have to just bear with it.
Yeah. The Skaven characters I also found to be quite fun. I thought the descriptions for the Skaven was very well done. A lot of the descriptive pieces were very good. The vibes were there. It really felt Skaven, the really niche, I'm the champion of the gods and, I do what I want sort of vibes was very chaos/Skaven. It felt very good and very fun. The tidal wave of Skaven coming in and trapping the two the priestess and the sorcerer was very fun, and just like kind of throwing things at this energy shield until it was running out of energy. And a lot of the dialogue between the human and the Skaven was very nice, and they really showed how little the Skaven and the Seraphon liked each other. There was a lot of tension there where it's like, I'm not even going to fucking talk to you. And then obviously there was like a couple of big plot reveals towards the end, and I actually did like the plot reveals, even though some of them were very obviously where it was going from the start, like the connection between the Kroxigor champion and the Stormcast Eternal being like eternal enemies, and
Storm Marine.
Yeah, that they were the initial confrontation here. They were both there, and the scar on the Stormcast face that he can't mentally forget was caused by this Kroxidor literally biting his head off in a previous life. And
yeah, if you're new to the setting, Stormcast get reincarnated, but each time they do so, they lose a bit more of their personality, to the point where the newest range of Stormcast is titled the Ruination Chamber, where they are the ones that have served like the longest or have unfortunately died the most.
They're the veterans.
Yeah, they're essentially veterans, but they're husks, and they need essentially chaplains to guide them forward, because they're like, what?
They're mindless killing machines.
What are they here to do?
That's all there is.
And that's what this character in this novel was one of these individuals who's relatively removed from his mortal lifetime's memories and his earliest memories with the Stormcast. It was him and his Stormcast Eternal party, if you will, that were responsible for this Seraphon ship crashing down once upon a while. And yes, then he was mortal enemies with this POV Kroxigor character, and that's why he was there.
And then they kind of have this like bro moment where it's like, yeah, we fought against each other, but they had that like warriors conciliation where it's like, yeah, we'll fight and all of this, but we do respect each other, which is very, very basic. And again, fantasy tropes, which fantasy tropes are fine to me. I have no problem if you lean into a trope, as long as you do it in a good way. And then the other big reveal was when they finally get to the inscription on the wall and fix it, and there's this big moment where the sorceress realizes that according to the Seraphon's plan, she will fall to chaos. And then you get that like human divide where it's like, no, we're human, we're in control of our fate, whereas the Seraphon are like, no, that's just the way it has to be, and you're just a sacrifice, you're part of the plan. Maybe you falling to chaos prevents someone worse from taking that position. Like that's kind of the whole Seraphon's thing, is the right dial being turned to prevent the wrong thing happening. So it's like, yeah, while we get along and we work together, maybe you falling to chaos is the only way the world can be saved.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that direction.
Yeah, and then there's this big conflict of interest between the humans, like, no matter what you say, I will never fall to chaos, and all of this, because humans are humans. They have free will. They want to do what they want to do, and they don't want to do what they don't want to do. Whereas the Seraphon are like, no, there's a plan. We have to follow these steps. This is the way. So they kind of get into this argument where Irishi is kind of just like, you don't have a choice. What do you mean? Like, this is just what it has to be. Stop being so silly and do your job. Your job is to fall to chaos. While the human's like, no, I don't want to. No, you can't make me. While I really liked seeing that conflict of interest, it really made the human side of things look really childish.
It did, didn't it?
Again, that condescending like tones and stuff that you were saying that the VA does, it really made the humans feel childish. And I don't know if that's on purpose or it was an accident, but it really made me side with the Seraphon more than the humans. Like, it kind of broke me away from that human interest, because I just like, you just need to realize that like there is a plan. Just follow the plan. When
you're the herald of a bunch of bloated frogs carrying out a plan thousands of years in the making, and you go and tell the 20-something-year-old uni student that she needs to become a moral criminal. And they're like, nah, I won't do it, actually. And you just can't help but blink your 4 eyelids at them in disbelief.
Yeah. And that's how it felt.
That was like a whole chapter or two. Like, why not? Why can't you? Because I can choose. No, you cannot.
Like, as a parent...
A frog said you can't.
Oh my God. As a parent, it felt like your kid was standing on the edge of a cliff saying, I want to jump. And you're like, no, that's stupid. And the kid's like, but I want to. Like, that's kind of how the whole thing...
Please, you can put a trampoline on the bottom.
What if we put a mattress down? It's still a cliff.
But maybe I won't be that bad.
Oh, man.
Maybe I'll only be a little bit chaos.
But no, like, overall, I did enjoy the experience of the book. It was just a little bit of a slog to get through due to some repetition and a few decisions that were made. But overall, like...
Yeah, it was a nice palate cleanser.
For the first part of the book, I was like, fuck, maybe I want to build a Stormcast army.
Really?
I just thought,
You're
like...
thinking Stormcast?
Like, it was a really cool scene. I really connected with the character at first. And then he kind of, like, took a sideways turn and he kind of just never changed. And that was my problem. Like, yes, that is very Stormcast, but there was no growth. It didn't feel like he did anything significant. There was no, like, cool action scene where he really showed off. Like, they had a few little ones and that, but the character just got annoying by the end.
He sliced some Skaven with a twirly slash.
Yeah, cool.
A couple of times. Yeah, cool.
I feel like Skaven are the wrong enemy to have if you want someone to do, like, cool things, because they're just a tidal wave. It's just a horde. But the Skaven leader was very funny. I really liked his character.
Yeah, as I said before, like, Richard Reed does do a really good job with enunciation and putting accents onto characters in a way that I don't get so often with other VAs in this sphere of influence with fiction. And his Skaven stuff and his Seraphon stuff were top notch. Skaven was exactly as you imagine a Skaven would sound just by looking at it.
But also...
And it worked.
The first chapter where they took a POV for the Skaven almost made me crash my car while I was driving because I was not ready for that.
Really?
The sudden accent change to that, I was like, whoa, that threw me for a loop. And I'm pretty sure I was driving on a windy road at the time and it just caught me off guard. But no, it was fun. Really fun.
Skaven chapter, yes.
Yeah.
I liked when they were camping out in the woods. Vale, the Stormcast, was just hanging out. And the sorceress, or the would-be sorceress, her brother's like, what are we gonna do about him? Pointing over to old crotchety grandpa. And that's what kind of it was. Just there in the thing, I remember this place. I remember this war. Okay, grandpa. I have to atone. Yes, grandpa.
And that was where...
I will go and fight them.
That's where
Wait, no, don't do that, grandpa.
Yeah, that's where the Stormcast really started to lose my interest. It was kind of just like, showed his age a little bit. But that's all I really have for Starseer's Ruin. Is there anything else you really wanted to say about this novel before we move on to the next one?
When you were talking about the Kroxigor v Stormcast duel, the honor duel, the whole, I will bring you peace, sir, I will end your life for you kind of duel.
Yeah.
When I was listening to this, I ended up putting it onto 1.5 speed, which I never do.
It felt unnecessary. It felt like the wrong ending to this conflict, but I understand why they did it.
Yeah, I thought that I had my phone unlocked in my pocket when I was doing some chores, and that I had, like, rewound the book. Because I swear the Kroxigor in the Stormcast had the same inner monologue spiel like 3 or 4 times.
And they almost came to blows 3 or 4 times.
To the point where I was like, have I gone back? Have I gone back in some chapter? Like, I swear I just heard this.
Yep.
And I think I'm imagining a reality, and I'm probably wrong, where Black Library editors were like, hey, can we get you to do a novel, Mr. Tchaikovsky? He's like, yeah. Can we have it in like 4 months? And he's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do my best. And You just have to get words on paper. And for a lot of people, this is going to be the juiciest thing ever. A lot of communal reactions over on Reddit forums, for example, really love this book. They think it's so fun and page-turny and pulpy and good fun. The Goonhammer Now Tabletop Battles review had this really highly, and their community polls put this quite high. This was book 2 or 3 in the Black Library Readers Top 10 for 2025, which all of these reviews is what made me pick this book. But I think this could have been done wonderfully as a novella. You would have it be shorter, would be able to just get through some of these plot beats without having to potentially rehash it for page length. And like, I read, I think, Lilith Hesperax by Mike Brooks, and it was a 6.5-hour audiobook, and it was fine. It was a fine length. It told the story it needed to tell, and then it was just done. I wish I didn't spend a credit on a 6.5-hour audiobook.
Oh.
But this book, Starseer's Ruin, clocked in at a little over 10 hours.
Yeah.
I think 10 hours, 7 minutes. It could have been 6.5 hours. And I think a lot of my issues with the pacing would have been fine. Realistically, nothing happens in this book.
No.
They have 3 or 4 perspective characters that are standing in a place and think, wow, we should go over there and do something. They go over there, they run into each other, debate with each other. Half of them go under the ground, get trapped by the Skaven. The other half go down, realize that the temple has some spooky prophecy. They resolve the prophecy and what it means to them. Book's done.
Yep.
So yeah, that's all I had to say. What do you think of that?
I have an interesting question for you to round out this part.
Sure.
Now, we've done a couple of these, like, in the top-rated books for Black Library.
Yeah.
And we've had some rather mixed signaling regarding how we feel about it. And my question to you is, are our standards too high for Black Library?
It's definitely something to consider, right?
Like, are we struggling? Like, is it that we're not the correct audience?
I don't know. Which books do you think?
Like, I'm starting to get this vibe of, like, these books, while we're saying, like, they're okay, we've never really gushed about these, like, top-rated Black Library books. Is it just that is the standard of Black Library and we just have higher expectations than we should?
Well, I don't know. Let us have a quick reflection on what we have covered. I can bring up my playlist here of the book clubs.
Book club books.
Wrong browser. Hold on.
Oy. Browser. We don't need that browser, Josh.
No, I have 2 different browsers based on what I'm doing. Privacies and whatnots. No. Which that's just doubling down on what you just said.
Yeah.
Playlist. Book club. All right, we've done 10 of these, apparently. We start with the Garviel Loken trilogy. I think it rates highly.
Yeah.
Fulgrim, Horus Heresy, Angel Exterminatus, Requiem Infernal, Infinite and the Divine, the Red Gobbo Collection, Dropsite Massacre, Hell's Reach. I think that went bad. What were you feeling like a little?
Well, the thing is, like,
whelmed with.
Yeah, they were decent books, but we haven't gushed about anything, have we? I thought that the first couple of books of the Horus Heresy were well done, but I wouldn't rate them in my, like, top books.
Fair enough.
I thought that Fulgrim was probably my favorite of the first couple of books that we read.
Same.
I thought Hell's Reach had some moments, but overall was very much the same. Maybe I'm not the target audience.
I think you have to have a certain expectation.
Yeah.
When doing a Warhammer novel, like it's a novel, and yes, writers are doing a good job often with what they have.
Oh, 100%. Don't think for a second that I'm trying to say these books are bad.
How dare you say such a thing? No, I'm not saying that. But I think you have to go in with a particular mindset.
Yeah.
With these books. And I definitely have some like moments where I'm like, listening to some of these chapters. But then overall, I tend to have like a net positive. I think people who really trash on these novels as like almost like a somewhat genre of fiction, a Warhammer novel, I think they're just gassing themselves up for no reason that it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I don't think, that you won't enjoy them. But then the people who are like, these are the best books books ever, I think, haven't read other books.
Yeah, and I think that's it, right? Like the glowing reviews are from people who probably consume significantly more Black Library content than we do and are comparing it to other Black Library books.
Yeah.
Whereas the people who are trashing on it are coming with the wrong expectations of what is attempting to be accomplished through Black Library, which is to tell a story around their models and the universes that they've created.
Yeah, it's like critics. You know, when you see people who review films for a living, right? And they go and see like a kid's animation or a rom-com, and they're like, 2 out of 5 stars, just another summer blockbuster trash. I'm like, what are you reviewing it against?
Yeah, in comparison to what? And I think that's the key thing, is make sure that we're comparing. I will say I thought I had incredibly high hopes for Starseer Ruin, and I think that was part of my demise. Because I have been in my like fantasy era of reading books. Like I read a lot of fantasy books lately. I've consumed a lot of content around that sort of genre, and going from something sci-fi to fantasy kind of had me pretty keen to see what was going on in the world of AOS. And while I did have fun with this book, it did whelm me a little.
Yeah, I think the parts that I really liked, I liked more than I was expecting to like from this, alien mind perspective. I think 40K tends to do a very human-coded Xenos outlook on things at times, and so they don't feel very unique. I think here the Seraphon actually did, and so I'm very pleased with that.
Yeah, it's like some of my more favorite 40K novels have been not from a human perspective. Like I really enjoyed the Necron books that I've read, which is funny because you already bagged on Twice Dead King once in this podcast.
Did I?
Yeah, because it's the same narrator.
Okay, well, didn't have Cities of Sigmar characters in that one.
But like, I really enjoyed the Twice Dead King. I thought that was a very good 2 books.
I did too. Twice Dead King was fantastic. If you listen to an episode that just came out where I did a little primer on a book for every faction for 40K, Twice Dead King was my pick for Necrons because it is fantastic.
Yeah, even over one we've read more recently as part of the book club, right?
I like Infinite and Divine. I just don't think it's that beginner friendly.
But I think, yeah, it was great, but you need to know more about the characters involved before you read it. Whereas I think Twice Dead King did a really good job of introducing what was happening and had some very cool Necron lore added in.
Giving Infinite and a Divine to someone who's not really uppity with the characters and the universe is like bringing someone to an Avengers screening and they've never watched a Marvel film.
I was going to say, it's like bringing them to the second, like, Endgame.
Yeah.
As their first Marvel movie.
Everyone's coming out of the portals and the audience is losing their mind and your friend's like...
Who are these people? Yeah, no, it's very much that.
Is that Sherlock Holmes?
So, I think that's about it for the Starseer Ruin, correct?
I think so, with some tangents. What are you going to give it out of 10?
I will give it a conservative 6. Like, it wasn't a negative book. It was fine. I did enjoy some moments, but it didn't wow me. It wouldn't be on my read again list.
Sure ain't.
What about you?
Going through my mental calculations of my scoring system.
I'm expecting it to be lower.
It is. How do I rate? Let's go backwards. I usually put 10 as masterpiece, 9 as fantastic, 8 is great, 7 is good, 6 is okay, 5 is mediocre, 4 is poor. Let's go with 5. 5 for mediocre.
Oh, wow. Okay, I was expecting a 4 from you. I won't lie.
There was good parts.
Just because you struggled to finish it is my main thought process.
There was good parts.
There was.
But I've been doing this long enough to realize that my struggle was probably the audio format.
Yeah. So that'll bring us to the next book club.
Okay. I really wish I had a sound deck so I could do that, like early 2000s techno that's in the in the book's audio record. We're going to Hovercar Racer. Welcome to part 2 of this episode.
So, spoiler alert, Matthew Reilly is one of my favorite all-time authors. He does a lot of military action is the best way to describe his books. in the mid 2000s decided to do a slight difference and shift to something a little more family friendly. The original premise of the book was an introduction to like his sort of world, but that you could potentially read to your kids at the same time. So there is still some action. There is still a little bit of like crazy stuff going on, but it's a little bit more family friendly than some of his other books, which is why I picked it. When I was deciding to do a Matthew Reilly book, I was tossing up between this and something a little bit more fantasy, which would have been Temple. Definitely suggest reading it if it's something that you're interested in. It's one of those like two stories alongside each other, different time frames sort of vibes, with a bit of a temple, like exploring a hidden ancient world, very similar to like Starseer's Ruin, which is why I didn't pick it.
Oh, yeah, I knew you wanted to do Temple because we vaguely planned.
Yeah, that was the original one.
Our podcast a few months out, and when you didn't pick Temple, I was like, why?
It's because of Starseer.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah. But it's set as like a F1 racing beginners like school story, but with hover cars. And it's about this like 14 and 12-year-old duo of brothers who have managed to get into like the renowned school for hovercar racing about 4 or 6 years younger than they probably should be, in their little beater car that they built from scraps that they pulled from like scrap yards.
Jason Chaser built this in a cave,
pretty much,
with a box of scraps.
And they're trying to fight their way up the school competition while there's all this other stuff going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
So what do you think? What did you actually think? Because it is very different to any of the books we have read before in terms of its pacing and also like the vibe. It is very race heavy.
Yeah, it's super race heavy. So I don't know if you know, you probably do know, but this novel was actually, it's not technically a novel.
You're correct.
Because Matthew Reilly released this as a fortnightly online serial story for free on his website.
Yep.
As an experiment.
Yeah.
And so there's, 7 or 8 parts to this?
There's 6 parts to the book. It was released in 6 parts. Each one focused around like a certain race style is the best way to put it, or a certain race or series of races that were in the books.
The next sort of subject or exam or what have you for Jason Chaser's life.
And each one is like a step up from the previous is the best way to put it. Like it's always an escalation.
I listened to this while I was traveling back from Germany to Australia, which took me 2 days.
Yeah,
and
right.
I was sleep deprived as all heck. I was a little bit of a hazy mess. However, this serial novel, Johnny, with its 1 to 2 hour audio length installments, was so easy to listen to and really relaxed to listen to and really easy to sort of pick up. It gave me YA vibes, like young adult, and that was fine for my state of mind at the time. And I could just wake up for a couple of hours, listen to the next part, go for food, listen to an hour, and then the part's done. And every time you pick it up, it's like Jason Chaser and his brother the Bug were waiting for the next raise, and here was their friend Ariel, and there was their teacher Scott Syracuse. And it was so easy to listen to, and I thought it was really well paced, and it moved really smoothly, like through all of the narrative beats. And so overall, I had a really good time with this one.
And this was why I chose it. It's an absolutely pleasant book. There's some really serious moments. There's some really fun moments. There's a lot of racing and race terminology and all of that. When you actually pick up the hardcover book, it actually has like maps for like all the races, so you have a better idea of where they're going and all of that.
Do you have it?
I did up until I moved house, and now it's gone to someone else to borrow semi-permanently.
Semi-permanent.
But it's definitely worth looking into.
Are you talking about a donation shop?
No, Kiara donated it to one of her work friends.
Okay.
But that's fine.
That's fine.
It's an absolutely pleasant book to read. There's a couple of recurring themes that happen where there's definitely moments where you're like, seriously, they're getting away with this again. You know, like he's the underdog in every race. He's the young guy. There's a couple of racers who are significantly better at the racing side of things or the manipulation side of things. Like there's
a graphic novel.
Xavier Zanora, who is like he's the rich guy with the best car, and you know he's got natural talent oozing from every pore of his skin. Like the man is a fantastic driver, but is an absolute piece of shit in person. There's Barnaby, who's a total piece of shit in person and not as good a driver, but he got into the racing school still. So everyone has talent, but he's really underhanded.
Barnaby Becker gave me Lucius the Eternal vibes.
Yeah, there's Ariel Piper, who's the first woman to ever get into race school. Then there's, you know, this duo of people who are way too young to be here. The best of the best people are purposefully trying to, like, set them up and destroy their chances and get them removed because they shouldn't be there. Like, there's a bit of a bullying theme going on.
Bloody hell, wasn't there?
And you end up finding out later that it goes the whole way up the chain to, like, the headmaster of the school is like, we can't have a woman be here. But she still beats the odds.
Oh, women.
You know, there's a lot of that. There's this, like, never say die mentality to all of these people who are, you know, the heroes of the story in a world where there's no heroes. And they end up going into, like, the pro league, getting invited to multiple pro races, and in the end, even winning one against all sorts of odds of, you know, their car being blown up, their pit stops being completely screwed, getting gear that's completely empty or watered down, you know, like they're just beating these odds of everyone trying to knock them down a peg. And it's cool. I like those, like, underdog fight the odds stories. It's neat.
Yeah, you do.
I do. It's He Who all over again.
You really do like a good underdog story.
I do. And I think that's partially, like, that's a big vibe of Matthew Reilly's, and I grew up reading his books, and that's kind of instilled into my brain.
Need a good underdog.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I didn't enjoy about this, well, we'll just call it a book. This book wasn't actually, you know, anything that made me, like, sour on the book as a whole, but from the sort of direction of the narrative, it didn't need to, because obviously the intended audiences was a bit young and they would not really think about it probably. But the amount of crap that happens to this incredibly young racer and his autistic brother.
It's wild.
On a global race circuit, and they're being sponsored by essentially billionaires to race on these circuits, doing at, like, their fastest cars that they had by the end of the story was going 800 plus kilometers.
800 kilometers an hour.
And there's people that have, like, sabotaged them with car bombs, and adult men, like adult men,
like 40-year-old men
who are purposely driving their almost too sharp-nosed cars into this kid's car to, like, cut the car in half so that they have to pull out the race. All this crap is happening, like, at the school with Barnaby and whatever the guy's name was, Xavier. You can just be a douchebag, like, whatever. Be a douchebag and win or lose, whatever. But then he gets to this global contest and all of this stuff keeps happening. The dude blows up at one point and would have died.
He almost dies multiple times.
If not for ejecting, like, ASAP, he would have flippin' died. And they're just like, oh, that's just racing.
Yeah, there's that is one of the themes that I really get frustrated by, is that's just what racing is. It's like, he's literally cutting people's cars apart with his nose cone that they straight up say at the start is almost illegal. I'm like, why is it not? Why is he never disqualified? Yeah. Like, it's literally a 14-year-old boy, and he is in multiple races bullying him and trying to kill him.
Yeah, the comeuppance doesn't even need to be like a whole chapter or anything. But like he wins, and that's the comeuppance to the characters, is that they didn't win. Like they lost to a kid.
Yeah.
But like there's not even and then they went to jail.
No.
Or it was like they had bad publicity.
The only person who goes to jail is some gambler who put a car bomb on their car. And it was only after he did it twice.
And only after a teenage girl caught him.
On CCTV. That isn't normally there.
Not even like race security.
Right?
Yeah.
Holy.
Huh? I'm not really in the F1 world. I don't know how much of this stuff potentially goes on or has gone on in the past, and if that influenced the story at all. But I was just waiting like the whole time for just some little side bit, like the principal of the school gets replaced when it is revealed that Ariel, the only girl in the school, was sabotaged
by him.
He's removed.
Yeah.
He's removed from off. Like that's it. It was like a couple of sentences and moved on. Like for the immersion of the narrative, fine, whatever. Moving on. That's not the important thing. It's not a legal procedural, whatever. But these extremely popular global scale races, they're just like, well, whatever.
Like, it's entertaining, so we let it go. It's like, holy.
And the French guy, Fabien, potentially like sexually assaulted Ariel too, and that was just sort of like hand waved.
I mean, it was kind of those like he definitely came on to her, and it is suggested that they slept together in order for her to get into like the pro circuit. And then he turns around and then she loses a race and he's like, nah, you're just not worth it.
Yeah, it's very up for interpretation.
After, like, they kind of made a backhand deal and he didn't follow through on his end, even though she followed through on her end.
Yeah, but they really set up this guy as just this big douche. Like,
oh yeah, he totally was.
Very, very morally grey character, poor interview techniques, sabotaging the cars in the race, and he's just off to go do it again later.
But he also gets away with it because the media has framed him as like, he's the bad guy of racing.
He's a man.
He's you know, like he's kind of built this persona around it as well, which has allowed him to get away with things he shouldn't have. But then if he's the bad guy of racing, why is his other racer in his same company exactly the same?
It's Fabian again.
It makes me not want to buy a Renault, you know?
Maybe Matthew Reilly had a bad history with a Renault.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, there was a lot of good things. I enjoyed all the...
It's super cool.
I enjoyed Jason Chase's little dynamic. It's got him, he's got Bug, which I liked from a writing style that Bug never actually has dialogue.
Yeah, he has like one line of dialogue in the whole book.
Yeah, it's the Groot and the...
Yeah.
It's the Groot thing from Marvel where everyone knows what he says, but we as the audience don't actually know what he says.
But because you kind of get the gist of what was said based on their replies. Yeah.
At first, I thought his teacher, Scott Syracuse, was just going to like fade into the background, but he actually like went the distance and stayed in the story, which was very pleasant.
Yeah.
The same with the chief mechanic, Sally McDuff.
Sally McDuff. Love Sally. She's great.
When Jason started going into the pro tour, I thought she was just going to be left behind as another character from the school, but nope, she came along, which was a fantastic choice to build the little team up.
That's another thing I don't understand. Why is their entire mech crew one person, even in the pro circuit?
Because they have an AI robot.
But the AI robot breaks down so fucking often.
Because it's sabotage.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is sabotage. But even in the pro circuits, like, when they're in school, they're trained to, you know, they do practice runs of, like, manual pit stops where the racers have to get out of the car and help because that's the only way you'll get it done in a fast enough speed. But why are there not people on hand for that? You have a professional race team. Why does it have to be one person when you've got billions of dollars to throw around?
Because the car keeps blowing up and you have to replace them.
But we have robot. I don't need to pay a whole team. It was just like those moments where I'm just like, what do you mean they just get their one Sally McDuff to help them?
I was a big fan of one of the like last school races And his teacher is like, we're going to practice manual pitting because sometimes you have to. And they're like, yeah, sure. And then in the actual race...
You're like, that's coming up, right?
Like in the actual race, they have to do that. And then all the like douchebag, objectively better racers, but, lacking the grit to do what needs to be done. They're just like sitting in the car like, hurry up.
Yep.
Do it.
Yep.
Fix it. But at the same time...
expecting one person to do the whole thing.
At the same time, though, aren't their teachers also, like, equally as good as Scott Syracuse?
Supposedly better.
And they're just like, what are they teaching him? Like, what are these better teachers teaching these people how to be a douchebag on the side? Like, when Jason and the Bug goes home and they're just like, these young adult men or late teens are just standing in the shadows of their hallway waiting to, like, beat them up. I'm like, oh, come on.
Like, he's a 12-year-old and you're going to beat him up? Like, what the hell?
What the hell?
Douchebag behavior.
So moments like that, I was really, like, sort of taken out of the storyline. I'm like, that's unbelievable. But probably it happens somewhere.
Yeah.
Also, can I just draw attention to Jason and the Argonaut?
That's
his relic being the golden fleece.
Yeah, isn't it fantastic? It's obviously on purpose, and it's fantastic. Like, they chose a golden fleece because he has the Argonaut, and his name is Jason. Like, it's great. I like it.
Turns out the monsters that Jason the Argonaut has to verse is the French.
Yep. No, I really liked that. I thought that was a fantastic little moment when they're like, oh, it's the golden fleece. It's like, ah ha ha, funny joke. And also like the whole Jason Chaser hovercar racer. It's fun.
I had a bit of a He Who Fights flashback when he was in the pro circuit. And obviously this was written without audio reading in mind. But when there was the leaderboards.
Oh, yeah.
Between the races.
Yeah.
And it would be like,
Number 1.
Position.
Xavier Zenora.
Position 3. Xavier Zenora. 220. Some Lamborghini. Jason Chaser. The Argonaut.
And you know that, like, in the book, it's literally just a picture, but they have to read it out.
I got a big flashback to Iron Rank 1. Iron Rank 3.
Yeah. And it's one of those things when you go from the visual media to, like, audio media, is this happens quite a lot with that sort of stuff, but there's not really a definitive way to fix the problem, because you can't skip the content. So it's just one of those things you suffer through for the audiobook.
Speaking of adaptations, though, apparently there is a graphic novel that you can buy.
Yes.
But it looks very kiddish.
Yes.
However, did you also know that Disney bought the rights to this film when the book was still in its manuscript phase?
Oh, I didn't know it was at that point. I knew they did buy the rights. Matthew Reilly has had a few of his books have the rights bought. And a couple of those, like, contracted periods have ended. He is in the... he has been for a while now in the attempts of screenwriting to move one of his novels into a movie, but I don't think they've had a lot of success due to his writing style creates a very high budget visual, like, narrative. So it's very expensive investment to try and get these books onto a film due to his style of writing. It's very high action paced.
Nowadays, you could probably do the medium.
High explosions, like all of that sort of stuff. There's just the way his books are written and his whole genre. But this one could be one of the more easily or more fun ones to, bring over.
You know, Mandalorian technology they had for that, the medium, which is like the 3D room CGI thing? Just do that.
Yeah.
Just do that for this.
There's ways.
Put a kid in a seat and vroom. Once upon a time, though, it would have been expensive.
Yeah. There's definitely ways, and it's definitely accomplishable, but we'll just have to see what happens.
Apparently, development was first announced in 2010.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, a lot of these things have come and gone.
In apparently January 2012, Dan Harris was apparently working on a script entitled Hovercar. Dan Harris has worked on some of the earlier X-Men films, apparently. But that was 14 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I would like to see it, though. I would like to have Matthew Reilly have that feather in his hat.
It'd be pretty cool. And it's something that he's definitely interested in.
He actually... He's directed a film, actually.
He has directed a film.
On Netflix. What was it called? He looks like an Australian guy.
Interceptors.
Haven't heard of it.
I've watched it.
Have you?
But it's been a while. As I said, it came out in 2022.
Fair enough. Well, was there anything else you wanted to say about Jason Chaser, Hovercar Racer?
I'm pretty good. I think I spoke a lot about that one. Is there anything else that you would like to say?
Oh, I think it was a good little bit of fun.
Oh, we need to give it a rating, right?
Oh, yeah. I'll give it an 8.
I very firmly give it an 8 as well. I think that there are...
Give it an 8. It was good fun.
Matthew Reilly definitely has better books. A lot of them are in, like, series, and I didn't want to push a series, like, another book 1 on you guys.
Yeah.
I wanted something that was a standalone, and realistically, that leaves me with, like, 5 options. And one of them would have been a very heavy sci-fi novel, one a fantasy, or there was this, and I decided this was the best one currently. But if you ever want to read another one of his books, Temple and Contest are both standalones. Contest was his first ever book that he wrote back when he was like late teens, early 20s, and is a sci-fi Hunger Games-ish style book inside of a library with aliens.
What isn't a Hunger Games-ish novel anymore?
Well, it came out a long time ago, so I say Hunger Games as like a way of describing it. Like it's a group of it's aliens from throughout the universe being thrown into a small area as representatives for their planet in like a contest to the death, and a dude from Earth is randomly selected because we're not technically part of their like global alliance, and it's within the New York Museum or New York Library.
Yeah, I'm seeing how this guy's influenced you.
And he just one day gets teleported in and has to survive.
Yeah, I'm seeing how Matthew Reilly has influenced your interest in stories.
Yeah, I grew up with this guy, so.
Hell yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Hell yeah. Sweet.
All right. That's another book club done. Well, 2 book clubs done. Hey, Josh, what's our next one?
Well. At the present time, we have a bit of a rotating schedule. We have a Joshy pick, a random pick, a Johnny pick, and then we go and keep going with the longest saga of books to ever exist, apparently.
We need an HH book next.
We need an HH book, and if we follow in that little bit more condensed saga that was thrown out sometime last year or this year, I can't remember. The next book is The First Heretic.
Ooh, that could be an interesting one.
Ooh.
That's been on my eventual read list.
Yeah, following the saga of 12, outlined by Warhammer recently as the hits, if you will, of the saga. We've already gone through the first 5 on the list.
For getting you ready.
Horus Rising, False Gods, Galaxy in Flames, Flight of the Eisenstein, Fulgrim. Book 6 is The First Heretic, Johnny.
We're going to get into some word bearers.
I've already started it.
Oh, have you? Oh, I better catch up then,
yeah.
eh? Maybe this one won't take 3 months.
You know what's wild? Is after the STARSEER'S ruin, including Hovercar Racer, I think I read 4 books, maybe 5. I read Fourth Wing and its sequel, Iron Flame. That's with the woman in my life. Not too bad, actually. I will admit.
Oh, yeah.
Begrudgingly, I will admit it. Not too bad. Number 2 has a bit more world building than number 1, which was it's always a treat to have a fantasy world building, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
I did skip ahead. I'm up to date with the Horus Heresy. I read the first book in The Scouring.
Oh no. Can't get that far ahead.
Oh no. It was good actually, but I'm not going to spoil it. I enjoyed it. It was a long book. It was like 16 or 17 hours. I read it.
Oh, that's a short book.
I read it in like a week.
Nice.
If it's not book club, I just But yeah, we'll be doing The First Heretic.
Cool.
It's Word Bearers. It's the seminal novel of the Word Bearers. The overview is that it takes place actually quite some time before the whole heresy thing, earlier in the Great Crusade, and then from an inciting incident, how they got from said incident through the decades to being sleeper agents for chaos that set the whole heresy in motion, ending vaguely around the same sort of time frame as the Galaxy in Flames, Fly of the Eisenstein, Fulgrim era.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the spiel. Word Bearers.
Neat.
All right.
Well, let's wrap this up, eh?
All right. Sweet. Take us home, Johnny boy.
Go check out the Discord. Come say hi. Do all the liking, the posting. Share it with your friends. These book clubs are an interesting way of trying to expand our horizons and branch out of the completely 40k topics. So if you do enjoy the book clubs, please share them. It'll keep us going. It'll keep us, doing this.
And you can join in. We will echo your opinions if you give them to us ahead of time in the episode. If that's something you want to have happen.
No, that's it, right? Come and be part of the community. We're trying to grow. This is another year of us attempting to push this podcast out to all of you and, try and make this a success. So please, if you like what we do, let us know. If you don't like what we do, let us know. We can only get better.
Yeah, constructively. Use your word.
Yeah, please. Please. Don't be a Barnaby.
Actually, I think STARSEER'S Ruin is the greatest novel of all time, and you guys completely missed the symbolism.
Good. I'm glad.
Good. Good. I'm glad we suck, actually.
All right. We'll look forward to the next one, eh? And hopefully, in the very near future, I'll get a chance to play a game of 11th edition, and we can start talking about
11th edition.
All of the new stuff.
11th edition, baby. New edition. Who this? Happy birthday, Johnny. New edition.
Hey. It's not my birthday yet. I got another week.
And then we'll play new edition.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Let's do this. Let's wrap it up. We gotta go. I got a house to clean.
Now.